This is One-on-One. Allison Maughn is Assistant Vice President, Post-Acute Services, Holy Name Medical Center. Good to see you, Allison.
Hi, Steve.
Interesting. The work that you do is, forget about the clinical part, the emotional part, death and dying, preparing families, preparing patients. I hate using the term good death, but what does that mean?
A good death is always one that's comfortable. And what I actually do is I work in a spectrum of services, and we cover home care, hospice, and for us we have an inpatient hospice facility, and adult daycare. So this is really an expansion of compassionate care outside of hospital walls, when I really think about it.
Yeah, but let's break that down. The term palliative care, define what that is and differentiate that from hospice care.
Palliative care, you're not necessarily dying. So palliative care can follow you for pain and symptom management at any point in time in your life. You may come out of the hospital and be in pain, and you need palliative care all the way up until the time that you really need to have the conversation about hospice care.
Okay.
And so it can follow you over years.
You know, in getting ready for the program, I can't imagine anyone watching this program, a family out there that is not dealing with this question in one way or another. Either you directly or someone in your family is dealing with the question, what do we do with, or how do we deal with mom? How do we deal with dad? What do we do with our grandmother or grandfather or someone in your family who you care for very deeply? I know there's no one way, but what are the most common mistakes we make in dealing with those very personal, powerful, and complex, difficult questions?
We make mistakes all the time. I'm a daughter. And my mom, both my grandmothers, my mother, they have all received home care and hospice care. I'm lucky. I work in the industry, so I have the ability to plan ahead. We always talk about that. What do we need to do to be ready? And it starts with being willing to have the conversation.
You keep saying the conversation.
The conversation.
Or the?
The.
Is it the?
The conversation, which means when the day comes that someone else might need to make a decision for me. I've been in a hospital, I've had an acute episode, I need care. What do I do with that? And you start with that conversation that says, I want this. What is this? And a lot of people do not know that home care is us coming into your home, wherever you live, and helping to take care of you there. And in home care, we help make you better. But when we cross, palliative helps cross from home care to hospice. So when we go into the home and hospice care, we're there providing an interdisciplinary support. We have a spiritual counselor, a social worker, a physician, and a skilled nurse that are going to come into your home, and we're going to help take care of you right where you want to be. So the conversation is the one that we need to have that says, I want to be at home, or I want to be in a skilled nursing facility, or I want to be in a hospice facility.
But I don't want to oversimplify it because it's not simple. When I hear the conversation, in my mind, what I'm thinking is the conversation, how do you want to die?
It is.
That is really it. Am I being too crass?
No, that's actually, I really like how you said that, because it is. What are my wishes when the time comes? Where do I want to be? How do I want to do that? And we struggle mightily to even admit we're dying. We do. And because I don't think we think we're going to die. I really don't. I think we don't know when the day's going to come. There are only two ways that happens. Your heart stops or you stop breathing. But there's a lot that happens from now till that moment. And a lot of us, including physicians and family, are not really willing to give up hope. And I would say we're not giving up hope. What we're really doing is saying, in these last days, when I think that there may be something I can do, I want it to be the best quality of life that I can have from this moment till the last moment. And we travel that journey. And it's very hard. We have a lot of different cultures up here in the Northeast, and we approach that differently.
Excuse me for interrupting. Who look at death
Differently.
These cultures, religious backgrounds, people's cultural backgrounds, people's beliefs about death and the afterlife or not, has a tremendous impact on the way that conversation takes place or does not take place.
It absolutely has a tremendous impact. And I think that that's why physicians look for people with palliative care experience to come in and be willing to have the conversation, which is really just coming in and getting to know the family a little bit. Ask some of those questions that help you understand what is it that they're currently faced with, and what do they want to do.
When you did this, you're saying you did it because you said, because you're a professional. I'm not saying you said it was easy, but...
It was not easy. It was really hard.
What made it so hard?
It made it hard because mom and dad think they have to take care of you. So at some point in life, that sometimes changes as a child.
It usually, not sometimes, but almost always changes.
It does.
It's actually supposed to change, right?
It does.
Right? Because
You're right.
if it's the other way, something terribly is... It's the life cycle, whatever the heck that means. We are supposed to.
We are.
But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, my mom and dad, they came to a point where we all sat down, and I think when you hit Medicare age, I think that's when we really begin to say, I'm now on the last quarter of my life. I've lived 3/4 of it. Now what do I do? My children are all grown up, they're out of the house, they're hopefully married in wonderful families, and they want to know, where will you be when I need your help? I'm here, my parents are in Florida. So not only did I have to help them across the miles, many people have family that have retired in Florida, and some are just 2 blocks away. But it started with, who's going to make that decision for me?
Wow. We have siblings involved?
I have 2 brothers.
I have to ask you this. Because you have this background in the field, were you the leader?
I instigated the conversation.
Were you in charge?
I did. I walked in with all the paperwork for the healthcare proxy and the power of attorney and said, guys, I don't have any kids. I need your help. I've got to ask you to do this for me. And since we're all here together, let's do this together.
Did they?
They did. We all have copies of this paperwork. And I would say right now to my youngest brother, Paul, please pick wisely. But he knows my wishes because that opened up the conversation.
So before I let you out of here, if you don't have the conversation, nothing good happens.
It makes it more challenging because then we're reliant upon someone that's sick or ill at that time to try to make decisions.
Oh boy. Allison Maughn, the conversation is a complex conversation, and I promise you, this will not be the last conversation we have about it because we don't talk about it enough. Listen, people will probably say, why is Adubato having this conversation about death? It's because it's important. Allison, thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One has been provided by Activists, the New Jersey Education Association, Investors Bank, New Jersey Natural Gas, St. Peter's University, and by New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System. This program has been made possible in part by Franklin Templeton Investments.